And they're off. Alright, so right away we see two different routes going in. We see one Cutman, one with Gutsman. Cutman is a little faster, just given that you can get the Magnet Beam a lot sooner than what you normally would be able to, and you can use it throughout Guts stage to make that stage a lot faster than what it is. But it's a lot riskier to do versus Guts. Also, I am Dark Terex, and my co-commentator will be Mythical. Alright, right away we can see kzez in Gutsman stage. What he's trying to do here, or what he did do rather, is he used the Mega Man 1 trick with select pausing. If you hit select or start even, it'll actually continue your iframes so that you can get through enemies a lot quicker, and it also stops any knockback that you have, so you can often just jump straight into an enemy, pause the game, and then just continue on without any knockback or any withdraw to it.
Yeah, we're also going to see that put to use on Gutsman here a little bit by kzez, trying to make his lemon shots count for double. You can also use the select glitch to refresh your collision with your projectiles with enemies, particularly the Robot Masters and all their health. Fees, can you give me a timer on one of these guys, assuming they're synced with each other? In the meantime, we got a Cutman fight from Nero, taking a hit there to ensure he can keep him in iframes for that very last hit, shaving those frames.
Alright, each on to their second stage. It seems that they're, keeping good pace with each other so far. Sorry, what was that you were about to say about kzez?
No, just that he's following his opponent into Gutsman's stage.
Ah.
There's me throwing the S on Cuts again. Ah, I'll get it right one day. Yeah, he's going to be a stage behind, or so it will appear, until they get out of Mega Man 1, though I won't be surprised if Nero pulls a little bit ahead. kzez specializes in the 46 Robot Masters category. It's where his best time is, and it's pretty good. He's in the top 15, but Nero currently has the record for fastest 46 Robot Masters, so he's got his work cut out for him.
It's a little scary there. Nero almost took a fall from the Yoku blocks. But recovers from it and takes the left path because that is a little faster. Rather than having to wait for more Yoku blocks in the next screen, you can just do a quick jump around. But it is a tight timing, so it's pretty scary.
Hello.
Hi.
Let me know if there's echo or something. Thank you. Don't sound so bad yourself.
kzez done with Cutman now.
Yeah, I love it. I hope we're gonna see some old school strats from kzez. That's why I'm here. Be sure to point them out for you.
And also welcome Joka for those who didn't see it or if it hasn't been put on stream yet.
But yeah, it's gonna be very tough for Nero. It's gonna be very narrow, but anything can happen for sure. kzez isn't any scrub.
They're making good work of the elect climb at the end there. And makes an easy kill on Electman himself. Just 3 hits from the rolling cutter. kzez is going left route, which again is a little faster if you can get the jump, but if you can't, as you can see, it takes a little longer. Really tight timing.
It's actually way closer between the seems at first. Oh yeah, and you definitely don't want to fall down like kzez just did. I get a better stream going here.
Alright, Nero goes for the first ice zip, and he gets the first zip. Oh, okay. He was jumping on it on the one on the next screen for a little while. Was running out of time before the magnet beam went away, but manages to get it just in time. We can see there with kzez, that's the reason why he went guts first, so that he could get the super arm, so that he didn't have to try and do a very complicated and potentially scary zip to get the magnet beam.
Yeah, I definitely approve of going guts first if you're not very comfortable with grabbing the magnet beam. It's a big risk if you're not feeling very confident, and it actually doesn't save that much time unless you do it very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you have to bust your gutsman, which isn't very easy either.
Yeah, it's an interesting buster fight.
It's a really fun buster fight.
Yeah.
Sad it's gone. It makes a lot more sense than throwing one. It's just annoying.
Oh no!
Yeah. This climb is really scary because the elect beams does so much damage, and you're often not at full health at the end of the stage.
Oh, yes. Nero's going through Fireman stage. This is a very fun stage, in my opinion. A lot of zips. A couple of scary ones, because you could end up killing yourself and losing a lot of time, but if you do it right, it makes for a really fun level. Beautiful.
Yeah, definitely looks like Nero is pulling ahead now.
Oh, and he gets a corridor zip, too. He gets 2 corridor zips. So, in order to do a zip, you have to put your magnet beam on a very specific pixel, and you can do this with a lot of ceilings in the game. And from where you stand at, I think it pushes you just barely into the ceiling, but doesn't count you in it, so it just zips you along the magnet beam.
Yep. Also going for corridor zips, I believe that if you only get one and you try for the second one but mess it up, it's about the same as not going for them at all. When you get both of them first try, that's when you really gain time. It's upwards of 4 or 5 seconds for both zips.
Yeah.
Versus just walking.
kzez is opting to not go for the ice zip, and just using the magnet beam to scale the Yoku block sections quickly instead.
Again, those old school safety strats.
Yep.
I believe the big ice zip, or whatever you want to call it, saves about 7 seconds or so. Versus just ignoring it and going for the magnet beam climbs instead.
Mm. So we got Nero trying to set up another zip here on Bomb Man stage. Looks like he gets the pixel. All right, and he's in. You have to be careful. It's a pretty safe zip to do, but if you don't turn around in time to stop your zip, you'll die from it. But it gives you a lot of chances. If you just go back and forth on it, you should be fine. Wiggle in.
Yeah, it's way more forgiving than any of the Mega Man 2 zips where you have to turn around.
Yeah.
Also, if you die, you still spawn in the boss corridor, so... Right, Nero going into his last Mega Man 1 Robot Master. And kzez is on his second to last.
Takes a couple of tries, but he gets that first zip still. And as you can see there, having the magnet beam for Gutsman stage is a lot faster than having to go through on the platforms.
Mm. You also save a lot of time on the boss fight.
Yeah.
Assuming you can actually hit him.
Yeah, that's true. Hyper Bomb is a weapon.
Hyper Bomb is probably the worst weapon.
Yeah, I agree.
All of Mega Man. It's even worse than Power Stone.
It is worse than Power Stone.
Nope. kzez gets the fire zip.
The fire zip looks very similar to what the bomb zip is, but it's a lot scarier. You have to jump at a very specific spot on the previous screen to get the screen wrap. And if you don't, then you'll just die instantly upon trying to do the trick on the next screen.
Looks like it's gonna be around the mid-14 time for kzez, unless he dies in Bomb Man.
Yeah, it's not a bad time. Especially after coming back from, 3 years of not playing?
Yeah.
And as far as Mega Man 2 goes, we got Nero starting with Flashman. This is pretty much the starter stage for this game. It's very, very short. The fight is very, very easy, and it gives you one of the necessary items to do zips with.
I'm curious to see if kzez is gonna go our second.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
In a few minutes. There's also the Baron Haynes route where you go Airman last. And that's just for Robot Masters, because since you can switch right after you kill the boss, you can skip all the item get text from Airman. And on normal it actually works out faster overall. It's kind of cool.
And we do see Nero playing on Rockman 2, not Mega Man 2, so bosses have a lot, I guess enemies in general have a lot more health, so, this fight is a lot harder than what it normally would be, just on the normal. But, the advantage he gets for playing on Rockman 2 is, as you can see right here, all the text is in Japanese, and it saves a lot of time versus the English.
Yes, about 48 seconds. So you definitely want to play Rockman 2 if you're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Oh, kzez having some problems with bomb zip. Oh, he actually can't do it now, I think.
He only needs 2. So if he sets it up right, he should still have enough.
Does he only need 2?
Yeah, you only need the 2, and then he just needs to go on the next screen to turn left is all.
Okay.
Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, the fireman's up's a little different, given that you actually have to place a beam on the next screen, otherwise you die from it.
I thought I was sure it was the other way around.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, I see what you mean by the way. Yeah. Well, there gets the item 3 toss.
I don't find that very easy myself. I fail it a lot.
No, yeah, the item 3 toss is way harder than the 6. That's afterwards. See how risky it is. Oh, yeah. I mean, Nero has a very good time in this game.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me for him going for a lot of the harder things.
It's one of the only classic Mega Mans he actually run full game. I believe this one and 9 are the 2 he ran full game.
Now, the reason that he went to Heat second rather than Air, like a lot of people who aren't comfortable with a lot of Mega Man 2 physics and things like that would do, is by going to Heatman stage, he gets item 1, which will allow him to go through Airman stage a lot faster. But it's really risky to do so. You can see him nailing all these buffers for Heatman. Heatman can charge at you at 3 different intervals, either 30, 60, or 90 frames. You hope for 30s so that you can continuously hit him, but that isn't always the case, and you just have to anticipate when he's going to charge at you the entire time.
In case he's playing on normal mode.
Mm-hmm. And that'll make it a lot easier versus what Rockman 2 does. But again, you know, he has to play in English now, so he's going to lose a lot of time given he doesn't have the Japanese text.
Yeah.
It looks like
being a bit safe and using flash instead of just item 1 in the beginning.
yeah, it makes the first part a lot easier. You don't have to worry about getting hit by anything.
Oh yeah, and the case is going air second. So that he doesn't have to do fast air.
You know,
And as a
there still
bonus-
is one benefit. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and as a bonus he gets item 2 for hit.
Exactly. Doesn't have to do the Yoku blocks.
And on the difficult version or Rockman 2, it actually can get kind of scary with damage in Airman stage. You almost need to do at least one edge jump on one of the clouds to be really sure you're gonna make it.
Oh, good fight though.
Yeah, very good fight.
Got a couple of good patterns there, and he was able to use a damage boost to safely get through the last one and still hit him.
Nope. Cases to spawn the wrong guy.
Yeah, if you're not expecting to despawn those guys, it can throw you off a little bit because you're expecting the pushback from their fans, but then all of a sudden it isn't there, and you gotta be aware of that because sometimes you're right in front of a pit and could end up walking forward and dying from it. Nero going for the biggie setup. And he gets it.
Wow. No big deal.
No big deal at all.
I think he's feeling very confident at this point. Being basically 2 stages ahead.
Oh, this is one of his items.
There's a big benefit jumping into the next screen when instead of climbing into the next screen on in Mega Man 2, because you get kind of this boost upwards when you re-grab the ladder on the next screen.
Yep.
It's really weird, but it makes even these like small item bombs he throws at the end of a screen, it makes a lot of sense actually when you take that into consideration.
Yeah. Now, one thing to note, like while you're doing that climb that's there, in Mega Man 2, if you let go of a ladder, it oh, nice item too from kzez. If you let go of a ladder in Mega Man 2, it'll change the direction that you're facing. So you have to be aware of that every single time that you try and use the item 3 to climb faster. Good zip from kzez. Oh, that's a good position. He should be able to pick up the extra life from this. Yeah. Got a good setup in the quick zip from Nero here. It looks like he's opting to do the next screens in the dark. You can actually turn the lights on if you wiggle at the right time before screen transitioning, but if you're confident enough, you know, why not go for it in the dark? Don't waste the frames.
Yeah, this section actually isn't very difficult in the dark. The difficult part is setting up the next in the dark, in my opinion at least.
I agree. I actually personally found it harder to learn this with the lights on, so I just opted to leave the lights off anyway.
Yeah, it's really confusing when the lights are on in that section because the background doesn't match up with the actual stage on the first few screens.
But he nails the second zip, you know, in the dark and everything. That zip can actually be a little scary because if you over zip on it, you'll soft lock the game. Yeah,
and that would be one of the things that can definitely bring kzez back very quickly.
Yeah. No, I guess the good thing... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, you are allowed to password if you soft lock though. But you still have to replay the first part of the stage.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I was going for the screen 2 zip instead. A little slower, but, you know, still a huge time save if you pull it off, which honestly is really not that hard to do. One of the easier zips in the game. Now, the reason that you saw both him and Nero swap to heat in that is because if you cancel out the audio of Mega Man dying, it cancels out like how your death is. So you use heat to cancel that out, and you spawn very quickly after the death.
Is having some problems with the crash climb. gets
Yeah,
really annoying if you mess up some of it. Throws
Yeah, you need to
everything
be
off.
facing the right direction on certain spots so that you can spawn the bird on the right side of the screen. Otherwise, it'll drop the egg and you'll have a mess on your hands.
Yeah.
No high jump this time. Crash Band can give you a high jump to where you can hit him with one arrow shooter. Arrow? Air shooter.
Arrow shooter.
Yeah. It's Mega Man 5 now.
Nero not going for the dog wiggles or dog scroll zips. He's going for the 3-dog skip instead with Flashman, which is it's pretty tight, but it's way easier than
Significantly easier than doing the other. Now what he's doing here is he did a vertical zip that put him onto another screen, and he's playing through the stage essentially in the background of the game, regardless of what you actually see on screen. And from there he's going to continue to do some more zips and then kill himself essentially in the boss corridor. Which puts him straight right there to fight Heatman. I can't say anything today. Woodman.
And Case is not going for any zips in man stage. The first zip actually saves very little time compared to just going normally, but since Nero did it pretty much flawlessly, he saved that little bit of time over Cases, so
Yep.
not gaining back any time.
Nero opting to use item 2 on the first screen of a bubble, which makes that screen a lot faster, but he doesn't have an item to do the zip later on, which is honestly a good choice because trying to do that zip is very scary. First bubble zip, or I guess the bubble zip down for Nero. You can actually trigger the zips in 2 different ways, either with an A or a B trigger. You can do either one on that one. Some zips require a specific one. But doing the B trigger is a lot scarier there because you have to do it slightly earlier than what you normally would, and you can risk running into the spikes with it.
Case is messing around a bit.
Easy zip. That there is like hands down the easiest zip in the game. Like anybody could learn that in a few minutes.
Yeah, it's the easiest zip, but for some reason mess it up because they're trying to set it up really quickly.
Right.
And Nero is into Mega 3. 9 at first. He's actually ahead of on his splits at the moment.
Yeah, there's a few different routes that you can take through Mega Man 3. The most notable ones are Magnet, Gemini, and Top First. Magnet First is one of the easier ones to do for sure. I guess probably I'd actually even say it's the easiest of the 3 routes to do. So if anybody's picking it up, that would be a good starter route.
Yeah, Top Man First definitely being the hardest one.
Mm-hmm. It is faster, but you got the things you have to do in there make it much harder.
Yeah.
And we got kzez putting wood last instead of second to last.
The only problem with Magnet first is that you get to do Gemini kind of late. I think it's 5th or 6th boss.
Yep.
But in a no reset scenario or situation, it doesn't matter, really.
The biggest disadvantage to doing Magnet first is you don't have Jet to go through the Yoku block room quickly, and you actually have to do the Yokus. Now, it doesn't really matter if you do wood or bubble first, though it's better if you do bubble last for 8 robots, because bubble's ending time is a lot longer than what wood's is.
But you can switch games as soon as you kill him, right?
Right, yeah, that's why that's why it's usually better to do bubble last.
Oh yeah.
So you don't have to wait through it.
Yeah, you can actually swap around the last 3 stages, or 3 robots in Mega Man 2, as long as you do metal before bubble. But you could go Woodman before both of them.
Yeah.
As well. Case is going for the 3 dog skips as well. I think he missed it.
Oh, yeah. Screen transitions are really weird in 1 and 2 for like how long they are and when you can actually move again after them.
Yeah. You have to do this small tiny zip in the middle of that section if you want to be able to make it in time.
Got a quick hard man fight from Nero.
All the cases pause. Named
Oh.
after cases.
Alright.
Pausing too early.
But if you get over far enough, you can still save that. As you can see, with Mega Man 2, if you pause, it resets your vertical momentum. So he was able to just continuously pause over and over again and let himself get over to the ladder that way.
And you can tell that Cases made sure he was over far to the right, enough to the right, before he killed himself. Because if you kill yourself too early, you're just gonna respawn at the checkpoint.
Yep.
Instead of in the boss corridor. And if you overzip, you're gonna end up in Wily 3, I think it was.
Yeah, I believe that's the stage.
And you can't really get out, so don't do that. In case he's going for Gemini first, because
That's the old story.
nah, it's better around.
Another benefit to doing Magnet first for what Nero has there is these cats that he had to fight on Top Man's screen. Those take 10 buster shots, but with the Magnet it'll only take 5 on each one, so you can mash through them a lot faster.
Also, fun fact, Cases usually plays on a GameCube controller with the joystick. I don't know if that's true anymore, but seeing as he still plays on Wii,
I would assume so.
yeah, I assume so too.
What you saw kzez do a couple screens ago is he slid into the room that Proto Man comes on, and while you're sliding, you still can perform some actions. So all you do is jump out of your slide and go straight down into the pit before Proto Man spawns, and that despawns the music for the stage. And in this game, the music itself actually causes a lot of lag, so it's really nice to be able to get rid of music and not have the extra lag, so you can do a lot of slides that you wouldn't normally be able to do.
Grabbing the E-Tank. I mean, it's right there, why not?
Why not? And one thing to note about Mega Man 3 slides, it was the first one to introduce sliding into the series, but you actually can't jump out of your slide until 8 frames have passed. So you have to be able to time your slides very specifically. Making good
One
use
benefit of doing Gemini first is that you have to fight him with Buster, and it's actually very hard to soft lock on Gemini with Buster. It's way harder than with Shadowblade.
Yeah, though we're still not entirely sure why it soft locks. It's just it soft locks, and it's a lot easier to soft lock with Shadowblade.
Yeah, it usually happens if you kill both of the clones before one of them goes into like the just jumping and shooting mode. So if you kill both of them before that, both of them despawn pretty much, and you're stuck in an empty room. There's a couple of other softlock possibilities in this game. Not many in the Robot Monsters though, I think. I know you can softlock on Hardman if you like have the worst timing ever with the last shot and manage to kill him while you're stunned, then sometimes you can softlock as well.
They're making quick work of the first screen in Gemini. That screen is incredibly difficult to do fast. A lot of things coming at you that you have to know exactly where they are to kill. Narrow.
Scary section. Taking it a bit easy here. Yeah. It's, not taking any chances sliding on these blocks.
Ooh, that health drop though.
Goes for the jump over the guy though without waiting.
It is possible to do, but really tight to get it. You'll see both of the runners try after they've done kill the boss. They're trying to get back to the center of the screen, before the last shot hits, because you can't move in Mega Man 3 after you've killed the boss. And they started making it so that you had to go to the center of the screen before it actually clears the level. So they try and kill the boss like while they're standing on the center, so they don't have any walking time in between. The last screen at Spark is a lot easier than it looks. You know, a lot of people struggle with it on their first playthroughs, like, oh man, how do I get through this? Because I got things flying at you everywhere, and you have to deal with these moving platforms. But like, this is a case of like, once you learn the speedrun strat, it's way easier. Like, you literally just hold right and slide once or twice.
Yeah, all you have to do is the easy way to do it is just walk on the red blocks and slide on the gray blocks or pillars. Then you're fine.
Good needle fight. Interesting, starting the proto fight from all the way across the room.
Yeah, it's the I don't think I can mash strat.
Yeah. It's better to do what you're more comfortable with, though, in this kind of a tournament, this kind of a setting.
Oh yeah, definitely. Also, I mean, with a GameCube controller,
Yeah.
who can blame him?
Who can blame? He makes it work, though. Like, I don't know how he does it, but he does.
It's one of the biggest reasons it doesn't the fast magnet beam, because it's almost impossible with a joystick. Unless you're a cool kid.
You've seen Nero use Jet quite a bit throughout Snake Man's stage, and you'll see a huge reason why he needs to have Jet for this last freaking up here. When you use Jet in Mega Man 3, it actually doesn't eat up any ammo until unless you're standing on it. So oftentimes you see runners jump off of Rush so that it doesn't use any ammo. In addition to that, if you jump above the screen, it gets rid of Mega Man's sprite, so it causes less lag, just because there's fewer sprites on the screen, so you try and do that anyway just to reduce the lag.
Not the bees. The bees.
Not the bees. Nero's coming in on his last Robot Master for Mega Man 3, going to Spark last. Swapping to Gemini to take out the Met Dozers. I don't think I've actually ever seen that.
Sorry, what?
kzez swapped to Gemini Laser to take out the Met Dozers. I don't think I've actually ever seen that.
Oh, I do that too.
So it looks like a really easy strat.
I mean, it's super annoying to actually hit them with Buster. So
Oh yeah.
if you can't consistently kill them in one jump with Buster, switching to Gemini is
Yeah, why not?
the menu's really quick and free, so okay, no hard man soft locks.
Interesting spark pattern for Nero. Gets him all the way across the screen.
Case is
And-
currently 3 stages behind Nero.
Yeah, that's not bad. And anything could still happen. Nero's opting to go.
Oh yeah, Nero going bright first. You kind of cut out there. I don't know what happened. But yeah, Nero going bright first, but just probably the better choice in a no reset setting, for sure. The only downside of going bright first really is that you have to buster Brightman, which can be annoying.
Sorry, my mic cut out there for a second. Yeah, Nero's going for Bright first. There's a couple different routes that you can do through this one, the other being Pharaoh first, but Bright first is the one that most people will go for. It's a lot easier, just given that you get Brightman's weapon to use throughout the entirety of the run early on.
Yeah, you get Brightman on Pharaoh stage, which is used on the first few screens, so that you can literally just slide through them instead of bothering with anything. It also makes the jump over to Balloon a lot safer, since you have no chance of getting trolled by a bee. The only time that Pharaoh first gains over Bright first really is in this fight. It's essentially the same as bustering him if you have Pharaoh shot on him, but you can hit him with 2 fully charged Pharaoh shots, like right after each other.
Yep.
So that makes up for a bit of time.
And he gets a magic pixel. If you stand on a very specific pixel in each fight, you can skip the jump up, and in a couple cases just teleport straight out.
The route after Pharaoh and Bright isn't set either, really. There's no reason you have to go ring right after.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. I know I've seen these a couple of runners do kind of weird routes just to like do all the hard stuff as early as possible.
That Parasy room is the reason to not do top first if you're not comfortable with it. Using magnets through there is much, much easier than trying to go through that with top spin like you would do in the top first route.
Oh no, wait, now I remember. It's actually Bright. Bright, you can like scoot on Brightman stage all the way to 4th, I think, without actually losing any time, assuming you do all the fastest strat. because you never use Bright in Ringman, and you don't have to use Bright in Dustman stage, so you can actually do both of them before Brightman stage.
Yeah, it's just that Bright makes it a lot easier. In most cases, for someone anyway.
And as you mentioned earlier, Snake Man stage is basically the stage where you switch to Rush Yet in the very first screen, and then you just keep it throughout the entire stage.
Mm-hmm. We had a quick fight on Pharaohman there from Nero, but in Mega Man 3 and 4, you actually want to kill the bosses at the center of the screen because the fanfare does not begin until all of the bubbles that the boss explodes into are completely off screen. That changes in 5 and 6, where it actually is on a timed fanfare, but for 4 you want to kill them in the center so it clears the screen faster. You can see Nero using the balloon here in the beginning of Ringman stage. It's not necessary to do that, but if you can do it, it'll save you a little bit of time. Getting balloon in the 8 robots isn't that much of a time save. Most of the balloon time save comes in for this game comes in the castle and Wily stages, but there's a couple of spots that you can use it to gain some time on. They're going for the damage boost strat on the ring mini-boss. Because as you can see, when you hold down a charge with Pharaohman, it just sits above, Mega Man's head. So you just use that to inch forward to it, take the damage boost, and that charge shot will kill him instantly.
He's going into 4 and Brightman first as well.
I believe 4 is the one that he is most comfortable with.
Yeah, he has 39:45, I want to say, in 4, which is, I think, his best time in the 6 first Mega Man games. So he's definitely played this game a lot.
Yeah. Easy ring fight from Nero. If you do that, that fight, you can do 100% the exact same every time. If you don't do it that way, though, then the fight gets really hard, really fast.
Oh, and yeah, that's 39:45 with 2013 strats, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to point that out.
See Nero taking advantage of using the flash stopper here, and as you can see, for some enemies that have shields, it'll actually get rid of their shield. So you can just mash through them as if there were any other enemy. Whew, that was close. Looks like he tried to take a reverse damage boost, but just cut it short and almost died from it instead.
Yeah, there's no worse feeling than going for a reverse damage boost, weird situation, and then you just end up missing everything.
Yep.
Dying.
Nice, good crusher from him as well. If you slide through at the correct spots on it, it still won't actually crush you. as you're going through.
Yeah, Mega Man's hitbox is tiny when you're sliding, actually. I think it's just basically his head. And or lower, it's not his... It's the size of his head, but it's not on his head, so it's sort of like his shoulder and down something. So...
Yeah, it's a weird hitbox.
kzez doesn't miss the balloon this time.
Yeah, again, if you miss the balloon in 8 robots, it's not a huge deal. There's only 2 stages that it gets used in. But if you can get it, you know, it's nice. Now we get to see the...
Yeah, Nero being in one of those stages. Go. No big deal.
No big deal.
Apparently, if you take damage while sliding into a top corner, you get it. Makes sense, because you're forced into standing like animation when you get hit, and then you get pushed into the ceiling. Fun fact: if you're sliding on a balloon into a corner, don't get hit in time, you just get squished by the balloon.
Yeah, you can actually zip really easily in Mega Man 4, but they programmed it so that you would die if you went into a wall, so you actually have to take damage to do that zip, otherwise you will just straight up die from it.
You can also zip in the Crusher section in Dustman by taking damage while sliding, like almost getting squished, and then taking damage that will zip you most of the time.
It's a weird zip. kzez gets a really smooth Pharaoh fight, gets him right in the center. Pharaoh's a fight that you actually, want... Ooh, unfortunate death from Nero. The Pharaoh fight is something that you want to stay close to him. If you stay far away from Pharaoh, he's more likely to jump around and fire at you rather than do the charge shot. So you want to try and stay closer to him to have a much easier fight.
That's the first step for Nero. Skullman, you actually control everything except the duration of his shield. Because he only reacts to what you're doing, which is really interesting. There's not many of those bosses in Mega Man.
Yeah, it is really interesting. What you do there is if you walk, he will fire, and if you fire at him, he will jump. So you try and just manipulate him so that you can hit him in a very specific manner, keep him at the center of the room. kzez is also taking the damage boost at the ring mini-boss. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe kzez is the one that found that strat, where you do the damage boost.
I don't know if he found it, but he was the one that started doing it in runs, definitely.
Oh, okay.
We call it the kzez damage.
Right.
I mean...
No need to do it for the second one, though, when you can just straight up go past it.
Yeah, Mega Man 4 is filled with mini-bosses you can skip.
Yeah, it's great. Even these whales that you've been seeing on Nero's screen, you can skip them. It's a lot harder and a lot longer to do, but it is possible.
Yeah, the way you would do that is just use 1 or 2 balloons and pretty much just jump over the whale. It's a bit more tricky than that, but that's essentially what you do.
Right. So rather than doing that, we just freeze him with Bright and jump up and try and mash through it in one jump, which is a lot harder than you'd think it would be.
Also, fun fact, Mega Man 4 starts preparing you for Mega Man 6, at least in Diamond Stage, where you can't, when you're underwater, you can't jump out of slides. So it's exactly like playing 6 when underwater. Almost exactly.
Almost exactly. The difference being that if, in order to do your slide cancel, or when you do your slide cancel underwater here, you'll actually immediately start walking back the direction. It'll stop you instead.
Case is getting through the lag section in 4. In Dustman Stage, I mean. See if we can, if he goes for any sips this section. I really doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it. If I remember correctly, that zip actually loses time. It's just there to look cool.
Yeah, I believe there's a setup for it, but it ends up being slower. Last time I checked, at least.
Yeah. Whew. Error forgetting to pause on this screen, so we almost ran into an enemy right over Spike Pit. Best fight. Dustman sucks, as we all say, because he literally likes to suck and pull you in. So you try to, or you have to hope that he doesn't do that and just jumps around the screen so that you can just continuously hit him, because he's invincible every time he does that attack.
I don't know if you mentioned about the boss fights yet, but in Mega Man 4, the music after you beat a boss doesn't start until all the like explosion sprites are off screen. So what you want to do is you want to kill the bosses as close to the center as possible. So that,
Indeed.
That will happen faster. Oh, and then in case this demonstrates what happens if you don't take damage when trying to sip. No, that isn't true for 5 and 6. In both 5 and 6, it's just timed after you kill the boss, how long before the music starts. So in 5 and 6, you want to instead kill the boss as close to the corner as possible to avoid lag.
Now you see kzez, you saw Nero doing it earlier too, but this is the stage that you'll use Balloon on for 8 robots, because of these balloon jumps that you can do. You can spawn, the balloon will still spawn for a few frames, even if you put it on a wall. And that sprite, you know, while it's still disappearing, you can still jump off of that, so you can just, as long as you have 4 pixels to jump on the balloon for, you can still jump off, or jump onto it and off it, just scale up the ladders quickly.
Indeed.
Ooh, they're going for the reverse damage boost on the go past it. That is actually very risky to do. If you mess it up, you just die.
I always thought it felt a lot safer doing the reverse damage boost, because if you do the other damage boost, at least I'm more likely to just walk down into the pit.
If you hold, like, you'll guarantee 100% that you'll live, or that you'll land on the platform. if you do it the other direction. But I mean, yeah, do whatever's more comfortable for you.
You can also soft lock on that screen.
Yeah, as you know well.
Yes. But you have to do certain things for that to be a possibility, even. Which doesn't usually happen when you're doing the stage normally. So.
Yeah, what happens is like if you end up dying to the mini boss, and then you go, back down to the mini boss and try to skip it again. If you swap to bright or pause in that, while you are falling rather than while you're still on the ground on the previous screen, then that's when it'll soft lock. So if you do it while you're still on the ground and then jump down, you'll be fine. But if you do it while you're in the air, it'll soft lock the game when you freeze them. Looks like we got an arrow onto Mega Man 5 now as well.
Yeah, I really like Mega Man 5 Robot Master settings, Master only settings, especially now when there's a nice setup for the crystal skip and you don't have to get the beat letters and so on.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat.
4 and 5 are probably the most similar as far as like the sliding Mega Man go. They have pretty much the same slide. The charge is different though. In Mega Man 5, if you get hit while you have a charge, you'll lose the charge. And you also cannot charge while you are sliding. You actually have to be walking in order for it to charge. Or I guess standing, rather.
So, Grudgeman stage. The first stage where you have upside down controls. I think only stage as well in this category. And it's definitely something to get used to, in my opinion. Sliding upside down is really weird. Again, this is one of the only beat letters is gonna. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say it's almost impossible to not get it, but Nero proves me wrong. But that's one of the only ones that basically doesn't cost you any time getting. Gravity Man fight is not random whatsoever. It's exactly the same all the time. The only sort of tricky part is getting an extra hit while he jumps when he's on the ceiling. So you can hit him when he's on his low point in that jump, so to speak. There's also a cool strat that no one has been able to do in real time so far, and that's what the toss does. Is that he basically hits him. He throws the shields horizontally and basically hits him twice per cycle or whatever you want to call it. It looks really cool. It looks like it should be possible in real time, but it's probably not. Nope. Nero fails the fast gyro arrow and has to go for old school strats. arrowing between screen transitions is kind of tricky.
Sorry, I had to leave for just a moment, but I am back.
Welcome back. Well, now I have to leave. So, I leave it up to you then.
All right.
I know more about 6 than me, anyways. So
maybe a bit. All right, thanks for stopping in though.
yep. Have a good one.
Alright, so it looks like we got Nero finishing up Iron Man stage and got kzez skipping the next mini-boss in Mega Man 4. The Gyro Man fight is very trivial. You just get the gravity hold and he just dies. You do have to time it a little bit because of the invincibility frames, but it's not too bad. And it looks like kzez is on to Mega Man 5 now. You got Nero setting up for the Crystal Warp. So basically what happens here is he's going to kill himself on the same frame that the second Cup and Ball enemy spawns. And you know if you got it if the head does not spawn. And now he's got to wait about 40 seconds for him to respawn. But what happens is when that happens, it overloads all of the object slots in the game. And for whatever reason, it sets you back into the boss corridor when you respawn of the level. So it's a lot faster in the 8 robots, at the very least, to just do the Crystal Warp. Not to mention, learning Crystal Man stage is actually a very difficult stage to learn, normally. But as you can see, he just respawns, and he goes on to the Crystal Fight. Crystal Fight is actually very laggy with the crystal eyes that he shoots out. So what you want to try and do is jump into them to despawn them. So you purposely take the damage to do that. And once that happens, then you reduce a lot of the lag in the game. So kzez having a bit of trouble trying to get his charge shots off on Starman. As you can see there, though, you can actually shoot through the shield of Starman if you're close enough to him, so it's good on him taking advantage of that. And he gets the gravity skip. In a normal run of Mega Man 5, you'd collect all the letters to grab beat, but for the 8 robots, we don't do that just because it's, I think, 9 seconds faster to just do the Crystal Warp instead. Because beat is not useful in the 8 robots at all. Especially, you know, given that you can't get him until all 8 stages have been completed. Nero making good use of the super arrows that he has, make sure he has just enough to be able to get through everything and over everything. Then he swaps to gravity hold, which allows him to clear these missiles or rockets, I guess, a lot faster. Now, the napalm fight is interesting. What you want to try and do for a faster fight is stay away from him. That way he shoots those 3 rockets at you. If you stand close to him, he does the napalm bomb instead, which is very laggy, so you're trying to stay far away from him to get the missiles instead. kzez is coming up on Gravity Man, which is a set fight. If Joke had not mentioned for Nero, this fight you can 100% do the exact same way every single time. It's completely scripted. Nero coming up on the Stone Man stage, which is one of the harder stages to learn. There's a lot going on in this stage. A lot of enemies, a lot of different super arrow uses, a lot of different things you gotta do for it. kzez looks like he gets the high arrow, so he can just travel straight up across for first couple of screens of Gyro Man stage. And he was able to preserve one last arrow so that he could jump up to the ammo refill very quickly. Oh, Nero misses his last jump to get his 3rd arrow to fly over everything. So it'll be interesting to see how he deals with this part of the stage. Looks like he's just going to try and damage boost through it all, which is a bit risky. Okay, so because he's taking so much damage, he's going to end up swapping to Buster. Oh, unfortunate death with it. But now he's got to go through it either with Buster or Gravity Hold, and looks like he's going to opt for Buster so that he can use Gravity Hold on the last screen of the stage instead. kzez on to the gyro fight. Again, you know, fairly easy fight. You just gotta time your button press on it. And he just dies. Now, the stone fight is actually very easy. You want to stay close to him so that he doesn't do his actual Power Stone attack. It's based on proximity. If you're far away from him, then he'll use the Power Stone, but if you're close to him, he never will. And then you just hope after that that he does small hops rather than a large one. kzez setting up for the Crystal Warp while Nero goes on to Charge Man stage. Oh no. You know, no, kzez. He didn't realize it, and now he doesn't have the arrow for it. What happened there is he, because of that health refill he got, you know, he no longer can kill himself. So now he has to make the decision: do I farm for the ammo, or do I just continue on the stage? And it looks like he's opting to just continue on the stage. Meanwhile, Nero going through Charge Man stage. Looks like he got the arrow strats at the beginning and is now going through the chicken room, which is actually a very difficult room to get through. We swapped the Crystal Eye because it has a large hitbox, so you can hit everything fairly easily with it, but if you miss and hit a wall, it'll split up into 3 smaller ones and cause a lot of lag, so you're trying to make sure that you optimize your shots on it. Looks like kzez is opting just to kill the Crystal Joe, and make sure that he gets through the stage in any way he can, and then use the Star Crash to continue. Not a bad way to... Now the Power Stone fight is a very interesting fight. You see these pause buffers. He only did it a couple of times because he was able to manipulate Charge Man correctly, but most people, the easy way to do it is you just walk straight in front of Charge Man and fire, and after that you pause, which will clear the Power Stones that you have on screen so you can kill him or fire another shot quickly. Oh no! kzez just misses the enemy there. Gives him that death. Not a very good death either. He was a fair bit past the checkpoint. Meanwhile, Nero is in Waveman stage, using the charge kick at the beginning so that you can get through the water spouts without any issues. It looks like he's gonna go for the double bubble skip. See if he gets it. And he does. Nicely done. That saves, I want to say 10 seconds overall. I'm not entirely sure on the time save, but it is a very large amount of time for not having to wait on the actual bubbles. And he also did boat skip, which is a very risky thing to do in something like this. If you fire your arrows and then slide across them and jump into the screen transition, you don't have to ride the boat through this auto-scroller. But if you end up landing on the water before that, it'll still put Mega Man into an automatic animation where he tries to jump onto the boat, and he'll indefinitely do that. So it's risky because you have to make sure that you are in the air when you go through the screen transition, or you totally soft lock your game. Now you do see him also off screen on that. You can stay off screen, you're safe there. However, if you go too far off screen, then you can't get back on screen. So you need to make sure you don't go too far off. And you know if you're doing fine if like the dolphins and enemies are still facing left. If they start facing right, it's a little comical, but no good for you. Now the boat skip only saves about a second because of the extra sliding time, maybe 2. Oh, unfortunate death from kzez there. He misses the enemy with the Crystal Eye, or his Charge Eye. Don't remember which one he used. That room in the cave is tricky to get through correctly. You're trying to kill the small enemies, and then you have to try and super arrow through. And arrows onto Mega Man 6's final game. Mega Man 6 differs from the other games with its slide primarily. It's one thing that people tend to not like about it is that you can't jump out of your slide. Instead, you cancel your slide whenever you hit A. So instead you have to actually double tap your A, or you have to turn cancel instead in order to jump out of your slides, which makes it for some actually pretty difficult movement in the game because you're doing a lot of inputs based around movement. But once you get onto it, you know, used to it and everything, it makes for a very satisfying speedrun. And kzez is on to Stone Man from Napalm. There are a couple of routes that you can do in Mega Man 6. Most people will be doing the Windman first route. Some people will do Flame Man first. But there isn't really much of a difference between the two. It's more up to your preference. Windman is just easier to do than Flame Man first is, because you can pretty much hit Windman at all times. Now you do see Nero sliding a lot in this fight, and it's not just because he's trying to get away from Windman while he's pulling him in. While you're sliding with Mega Man 6, every time you slide, it reduces your charge time by a frame or two. So if you slide a lot, you'll be able to fire your Buster a lot faster, or I guess by a few frames. And Mega Man 5, you cannot charge while you are sliding, whereas in 6 it actually makes it charge faster, just barely. kzez gets over the spot that Nero had some issues in Stone Man, so he'll gain some time back just from that, or on that stage alone. But he did also have some hiccups in Crystal and Napalm, so I'm not sure it'll make too much of a difference. Flame Man stage is a very fun stage to go through. There's a lot of very small slides that you have to do, get your cancels in everywhere. A lot of backups you have to be aware for and everything. So there's just a lot of stuff that you need to be aware of what's going on and be able to react to it. So but then you see him coming into the flame fight with the Windstorm, which will be a lot easier than trying to fight him with Buster. Fighting Flame with Buster, you can actually hit him while he has those flame walls up. If you aim it just barely over the flame walls, you can hit him with a charge shot. And so your goal is to try and do that. But again, unless you're used to it, it's pretty difficult. kzez on to Charge Man now. Only 2 left in Mega Man 5. Looks like he's going to save his last arrow here so that he can get through this last screen at the beginning of Charge quickly. Now, Blizzard Man stage, me personally, I'm a Mega Man 6 runner, and this is my personal favorite stage because of the ice physics. Normally, ice physics aren't a good thing, but because of how the slide canceling works in this game, you can actually, if you A-cancel on the ice, rather than turn cancel, you can keep all of your forward momentum and not stop. Whereas if you turn cancel, you kind of rubber band back to the direction that you came from. So it makes for some really interesting movement that you wouldn't find otherwise. Now you can get through that submarine section without stopping, but it does require a small amount of luck. Like 85% of the time you'll get through it, from what we found. There's a pit right in the middle of it that if you don't stop, it has a chance to clip you down inside and kill you. But if you don't have that happen and your movement is good enough, you can slide all the way across underneath the spikes before dying. kzez is finished with Charge Man now, headed on to Wave, while Nero is fighting Blizzard Man. Blizzard Man is a fight that you want to fight in a corner. If he rolls, he's invincible, so you're trying to hope, A, that he doesn't roll at all, and if he does, you want him to be near a corner so that he reduces as much time as possible while he's rolling. The chicken room thing, the chicken room dedication is something that another runner, BJW, started doing. It's just something that he did for fun and kind of caught on with everyone else. Looks like kzez is setting up to do the bubble skip. He misses on the first screen. Let's see if he does anything on the second screen. Nero, meanwhile, in Plant Man, misses going underneath a bullet that the turret had at the beginning of that room that he was in. Well, we'll see if he can get this one jump on the gorilla. Does it in 2 jumps. So if you stand at the right spot on and then jump up to kill the gorillas, you can just mash into the gorilla and kill it in the 1 jump. But you have to be far enough away from it that you cause a little bit of lag. You can do it without the lag, but it's a lot harder for it. There he goes, he gets it on the second one. The gorilla is normally having, or they do have 24 health, and the Flame Blast takes good care of them. And only 6. And you see Nero actually swapping over to Buster here rather than going for the platforms. You can jump on those platforms that he opened up without actually opening them up. You can't open them with the Flame Blast. But you've only got like 4 frames to jump off of them. So it's a risky strat that'll save you a couple of seconds, but if you're not comfortable with it, it's definitely not a good idea to go for it. Looks like he gets a setup on the left jump to get a glitch here. If you stand on certain bosses' hitbox at a very certain pixel, it will confuse the game because it doesn't know where Mega Man is anymore, and the boss will just run across the bottom of the stage there. And you can get multiple hits in that way. So, as you saw, he was able to kill Plant Man with a 6-hit cycle without Plant Man doing any extra jumps. You can actually do that on Blizzard and Nightman as well, but you can't guarantee what they're going to do next. Their next action has to be a run animation in order for it to work, but given that you can't guarantee it for those 2 bosses, you don't normally go for it. And we are now on to Mega Man 6 entirely. kzez is also going for win first. Tomahawk Man stage here narrows in. There's not a whole lot that happens in it. The first screen has a lot of mashing and a lot to it, but after that it's a pretty smooth level afterwards. Just slide through it. This is still pools for the tournament. Alright, and so now we got Nero coming up to Tomahawk Man himself. This is a tricky fight for people learning this game, because you have exact ammo to kill him with, and they gave you the hardest weapon that you could kill him with as his weakness. They gave you Plant Barrier, so you have to be right up next to him, and Tomahawk Man is very random on what his movement is like, so trying to not die when you're new to the game can be tricky. Now, as you saw there, and you've seen Nero do it a few times now, he's killed a boss at the right side of the screen, and he's jumping up against the right wall. For whatever reason, in Mega Man 6, after you kill a boss and you jump up against the right wall, it reduces lag. Only on the right wall, though. It doesn't do it on the left wall. However, you need to be like pretty close to the wall after you kill the boss in order for it to actually make a difference. If you're far enough away, it's not going to do anything for you, and you end up causing more lag by moving, trying to get over there. Alright, final 3 stages coming up for Nero here, into Yamato Man stage, while kzez goes on to Flame. Yamato Man stage is fairly straightforward. It's an easier stage in the game, a lot shorter than the other ones are. And you'll actually get to see the one time that we get a beat letter in Mega Man 6. In Mega Man 6, you get the beat letters by going an alternative path on 4 of the Robot Masters. And it's faster on Yamato Man stage anyway, just to go this direction. Because it's 4 screens less that you have to go through. We'll see how he does against the Yamato fight. Yamato is a interesting fight. He only has 2 actions, and with almost all the bosses, the Robot Masters, I should say, in Mega Man 6, they can only do the same action twice in a row before they are guaranteed to do another action. And since Yamato only has 2 actions, if he ever does the same one twice in a row, you can 100% guarantee that he is going to do the other action. Ooh, kzez almost taking a death there. Just barely takes a hit from the flame before the oil pit gets lit on fire, and when that happens, it's an instant death if he touches the flames there. But luckily he was able to take the damage boost and keep going. Alright, that is Yamato down and Flame down. Into Nightman stage. Nightman has an interesting start to the stage with this spike ceiling. Let's see if Nero goes for the ceiling skip. Looks like it. Alright, and he gets it. So basically what happens there is he... if you're fast enough, you can jump underneath over the small spike pit, and then once you keep sliding from thereafter, you can do 2 things. You can either just run into the enemy, that's the easy way of doing it, and just damage boost through. Or you can pause at the right time, and then swap to Yamato. And while you pause, the spike ceiling actually continues to move. And while you're still in invincibility frames from the pause menu. So once you just pause at the right time, it just moves and you can safely get through it without it killing you. kzez is opting for the flame strats through the lag room here. You can do Buster through that. It's kind of up to preference as to what you want to do with it. Ooh, kzez is cutting a little bit close, but he gets into that first safety hole so that he can still continue on. Now, Nightman is the one fight that you can't like guarantee what he's going to do next. He could throw, you know, his flail every single time. He could jump the entire time. You know, he can be a very frustrating boss because he'll just jump up high and you can't do anything to stop him from it, and you can't hit him. We got 2 rolls from Blizzard on kzez so far. Hope he doesn't do any more. Oh, there's 3. That should be it. 2 is the average pattern that you'll get from the Blizzard rolls. Narrow on a Centaur Man stage, and he looks like he gets the miracle jump underneath the Metroid over a small gap. That's a bit tight of a jump that you have to make. You have to slide and then cancel right at the right time. If you jump too late on that, then the game applies water physics to you, and you'll hit the Metroid as it's falling and just fall into the pit. Now, there's 2 ways you can go through Centaur Man stage. You can swap to Knight early, or you can just stay on Buster, and again, that's kind of up to preference. Knight can get a small time save if your slides are done correctly on it, just because you have more sliding time than Buster would give, but it's not easy to do. Now, what Nero did do there in the underwater ceiling area is he took a damage boost, and that allowed a reverse damage boost, I should say, that allowed him to slide across those spikes at the bottom of the room, just enough time to get across those. Trying to take a reverse damage boost at the squid, but just misses it. Looks like kzez misses the 1 jump on the gorilla. I'm not sure if he got that on the first one or not, but... Alright, and this is the final boss for Nero as he fights Centaur Man. He's got a few patterns he can do. What you want him to do is exactly that right there. He got the best pattern that you can get from Centaur. And that is it for Nero. And Race Spot shows a time of 1:43:13. That is a fantastic time that you could get within the marathon. Meanwhile, kzez is trying to set up the glitch for Plant Man. He gets it, but he gets a right run cycle instead, so he has to fight him a little bit differently. And he misses 1 or 2 of his shots, so unfortunately he has to wait a few more shield cycles. And we've only got 4 stages left for kzez here. kzez has amazed me doing this tournament because he hasn't really been practicing this for like the past 3 years or so. And then he comes back and, you know, he's already keeping up with a lot of the runners in this. Yeah, that is the 3rd fastest time in the tournament so far. Fast at CC and Prissy getting just slightly better times over the past, I think, couple of days. Nero trying to show off some ladder jumps here after he's finished. for whatever reason, if you hold down off of a ladder and you fall off the ladder in Mega Man 6, it gives you 3 frames of standing, so you can jump off of that. If you hold a diagonal while you do it, I think it gives you 9 frames, so it actually becomes pretty easy to jump off of them. You just got to be able to time it correctly. And kzez is coming up here to Tomahawk Man. The best pattern that you could get from Tomahawk Man is him jumping at the beginning, directly towards you. That way you don't really have to move anywhere, and then having him follow you back to the right corner. But it looks like he's just going to stay in the center, unfortunately, which causes a bit more lag. And that's the end of Tomahawk. Only 3 stages left for him currently. Not a bad first screen of Yamato Man here. Doesn't get the reverse damage boost on the second one, though. Which is a small time loss, but not a huge deal. Oh, but he misses the Dragonfly. Still gets underneath the one that can randomly hit you, though, so that's good. One of those, the second to last Dragonfly, you know, just sometimes it'll hit you, sometimes it doesn't. You just hope that it doesn't. Again, he's actually going up on the top route to where you get the beat letter, because, you know, it's 4 screens faster than what you'd be getting on the lower route. Let's see how he handles Yamato. Takes 1 hit from him, unfortunately. Not a very good pattern, either. Kind of jumped around a lot and didn't give him anything that he could really hit with. No. The routes are essentially the same. Even if you did a different, you know, Robot Master first, different equipment, this is a pretty much set route. You know, even me, you know, when I started running this game way back when, I actually started doing Nightman first, and even with that, it's the same. You would go through the same areas that you would. Now, you can run 100% for this game, where you get all the beat letters and the energy balancer, but beat is pretty useless in this game, so, you know, not many people actually go for it. You know, we tried routing in beat in 100% just so that he actually had a use, and he didn't do anything. He can't attack bosses, his ammo drains very quickly, and he's slow. Meanwhile, kzez gets the ceiling skip on Nightman's stage very smoothly. This room that he's currently in, the checkpoint room, is actually a really scary room. To me, that's the scariest room in the entire game, because if it gives you a small ammo drop there while you're sliding, it's really hard to not cancel in time. Or it's really hard to cancel in time and not just fall into the spikes. And he makes the first platform in the bouncy castle. Doesn't make the other ones though, unfortunately. Taking a hit there can throw a lot off on where you're at. And he's starting off with not such a good pattern, Nightman here. You're hoping that he just stays on the ground and throws the flail at you. Just like that. Alright, that's better. He's able to kill him in the right corner so that he could jump against the wall and reduce that lag. So not a terrible pattern. Just the first two jumps that he gave were high, so we couldn't hit him. And we are down to the final stage for kzez here in this race. Going into Centaur Man. He does get Miracle Jump. Okay, he did a slightly easier version to some people. It depends on how you want to go through it. He actually, rather than just holding forward and then canceling out of his slide, he fell down without holding forward and then slid a full slide, and that gave him a position that he could actually do the Miracle Jump. Looks like he's opting to use the Night Crusher strat through the underwater section. It's a little easier to go through, not having to try and mash through enemies, given that you have more control over what the weapon does. Oh no, that really is unfortunate. He got the spike skip there. He got the slide across the spikes and even jumped off of them, but he didn't jump high enough so that he could actually make the jump. There he goes. Now the downside for that, because he did swap to night earlier, is he can't use as much night to get through areas that he might be used to it with, for fear of not having enough to kill Centaur. But he should be fine now. It is good to kill all these flying submarine enemies, because they actually produce a fair amount of lag. So the more you can kill, the better. But you need to have the ammo for it. Doesn't quite get the damage boost up onto the platform. If you slide fast enough and jump up high, the ice cube that the squid shoots out will reverse damage boost you onto the platform. Here we go. He's going into the final boss fight here with Centaur. Doesn't get a very good start. Starts a teleport. Teleport, as you can see, just wastes time because you can't hit him at all. But he gives a couple of run cycles afterwards, which is good, and he gets to finish fairly quickly after. And it looks like with race spot, it shows a 1:54.34. It's a very solid time. Especially for, coming back after 3 years of not constantly practicing these games. So very well done. All right. And that just about wraps up this race here. I believe there's another one going on here soon, or has already started. I believe that one's on the Speedruns Live page. But that's it for me. I I'll see you guys next time. And we do have a few more races coming up here within the next day. Some more still going on today, and I think a couple tomorrow. So we will see you next time. Have fun and go watch the other race.